Hello guys, Alan here and welcome to the most authoritative Revit tutorial channel here on YouTube. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about how we can actually create or model up a door that actually opens up in Revit, alright, an openable door inside the Revit software. So it's quite an advanced lesson, so I want you guys to just sit back and then just make sure you follow through with every step in the way. Now, before I get started, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. It's going to help me out a lot. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on advanced lessons like this, because I can just be putting out videos and contents like this on Revit here on YouTube. So now let's get started on creating our openable door in Revit. So first of all, what you need to go is you need to go into this file tab right there. So just click on the file tab, and then when you just leave your mouse pointer on the new, all right, it opens another section. All right, then you head straight into the family tab right there. When you head straight into the family tab, you are going to have this pop-up menu. All right, so now Revit gives us a whole bunch of templates we can actually use to create absolutely anything, any family that we want to create to fit in our project. All right, any kind of family we want to create. So in our case, we are designing a door now. So the template we need to get is actually going to be obviously the metric door template of. All right, so if we're designing a curtain wall, we definitely go for the metric door curtain wall template. All right, so if we're designing something like, let's say, anything of sort of anything, let's say a balustrade, all right, let's say a balustrade, all right, we are definitely going to go for the metric balustrade template, all right, which is perfect. So now what we are going to choose is supposed to be the metric door template, but I'm not going to use the metric door template to start the design. I'm going to use the metric generic model template. All right, now this generic model template sounds or works, it works like a universal template, all right, which you can actually use to create any of these items in this template. All right, so the metric generic model template, it serves as a universal template you can actually use to design absolutely anything that you want. So I'm going to use that to start off with the door design. All right, so where is my generic model? This is it right there. So I'm going to click on that, and then Revit opens that up. So when it's opened up, you're going to have this reference planes crossed in there. So don't be scared if you're a beginner watching this video now. These are just reference planes, all right, it's just crossed in there, and it has the point of origin 0, all right, which is the center right there. Okay, so this is our reference plane looking at our design on plan. All right, so these reference planes are going to help us to actually design our door. So this plane you see right there, or this view we are in here, is like going to be like a floor plan. All right, so this view is going to be like a floor plan. When you head straight here, you can see it in the floor plans. We have reference level, which we are currently in that view now. So we are going to have the views, which the elevations, which are going to be the back, the front, the left and right. You can see that also in here, which is perfect. So now we are going to start off with our design. So what we want to create first and foremost is the reference plane. So I'm going to click on the reference plane right there, and then I'm just going to draw a line on my left hand side facing my laptop. It's going to be on my left hand side. So you can, when you click on that reference plane right there, you can actually name it. All right, but we are not going to name it in this section. With this, we are just going to just dimension them. So we are not going to name them. All right, we are not creating some advanced modeling in here. So I'll be getting into that in a couple of videos. So I'm just going to click on this reference plane right there, and then I'm going to click on this dimension right there. I'm going to keep it at 1000 millimeters. All right, so this 1000 millimeters you see right there is going to serve as the width of my door. All right, it's going to serve as the width of the door. So that's this 1000 millimeters you see in here, from this reference plane straight to this reference plane right there. So that's that dimension you see right in there. So now I'm going to head straight into the create tab again, and then I'm going to draw a reference line this time, not a reference plane. I'm going to draw a reference line this time. All right, so I'm going to click on that reference line, and then I'm going to make sure I find the center in there, the point 0 origin. I'm going to click right there, and then I'm going to draw it in there. Okay, so we are not going to care if this reference line actually crosses out from this reference line. All right, we are going to work on that. We are going to dimension and make sure everything sticks in the width. All right, this is the width of our door. So this reference line is going to serve like the door opening, the door leaf. All right, it's going to serve as the actual door itself. You can see it in there. I've drawn it at an angle in there. So first and foremost, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set parameters. Now, what do I mean by parameters? Now, you notice anytime you load up a family in there, let's say a door family, all right, let's say you load up a door family inside of Revit, and then you head straight into the edit type. All right, you can see these parameters, or the part where you can actually change the dimensions, and you can also change the height and the angle of your door and other stuffs, the rough height, the rough width, and other stuff. You can see it in there. All right, so that is what is going to do. We are going to be doing now. We are going to be creating parameters where we are actually going to create dimensions for the width and also for the height and also for the angle as well. So we are going to be doing that in a couple of minutes. So first of all, we need to find our dimension tool, which is right here. So you can just click on that dimension tool right there. Then we are going to dimension from this reference plane to this reference plane right there, which is 1000 millimeters. And I'm going to create a parameter for that. So I'm going to click on that, and then when you click on that, you're going to have this command right here. Now you see this icon right there. You just make sure you click on that icon which says create parameter. All right, so we're going to create a parameter. We're going to click on that right there, which is perfect, and then we're going to call this our width. All right, we're going to call this width, and we're going to make sure type is checked, and then family parameter is also checked. If you don't have these checked, make sure you check them as well, and then just click on OK in there. You can see it in there. We have width is equal to 1000 millimeters, which is also equal to 1 meter. All right, and also equal to 100 centimeters as well. So now we are going to create an angle as well. So we need to go back into our dimension tab right there, and then we find our angular dimension, which is right there, and then we are going to click right there and click right here, and so we have our angle in there as well. So what we can do is we need to create a parameter for that as well. So you can just click on that and then just head straight into in here, and also click on this icon right there, and then you just click on angle. All right, just click on angle in there, and then make sure type is checked, family parameter is also checked, and then you can just click on OK right there. So we've done that as well. Now we need to set a dimension for our width of this dot. So we are going to click on our dimension tool right there. Make sure you click on align, and then make sure you find the tip of that reference line. So just hit the tab key right there, and then I can notice it's selected. All right, it's at the tip, so I can click on that, and then I come here and also find the tip right there. Click on tab, click on tab, click on tab, and it's found the tip right there. So I'm going to click on that and lift that dimension up right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this dimension to be equal with my width in there. All right, so I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to click on the drop down menu right there, and then change that to also look like my width in there, which is perfect. So from here to here is the same 1000 millimeters as my width, because I want my door to close with the same dimension in there as well. So this is perfect. Now what we are going to do now also is we are going to head straight in there as well. We are going to draw the door currently. We are going to make sure we draw the door. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head straight into the 3D view by clicking on this icon right there. And you can see in our 3D view, we have our items looking very big in there. They are too huge. It's going to conflict with my eyes in there. So I'm going to change the scale. I'm going to change the scale to about 1 in 10. Let me just change the scale to about 1 in 20. 1 in 20 is perfect. 1 in 20 is perfect. So 1 in 20 is also perfect. We have that in there, and we need to go back into our plan view, which is the reference level, and we are going to draw our door. So we need to head into the create tab, and then just click on this set right there. Click on the drop down menu under the set tab, and then make sure you click on pick a plane. All right, so move it in there, and then just hit on the tab key to select the reference line. All right, selected. And Revit is not going to allow us to draw this in this view, so we need to find an appropriate view. So we are going to use the front view. You can use the back view if you want. So I'm going to use the front view. I'm going to open that view right there. So we have it in there. So now anything we are going to draw is actually going to fit on this reference line in there. All right, so we are going to create an extrusion. So I'm going to click on that, And I'm going to start from here. I'm going to lift this up to, I don't really care about the dimension. All right, we're going to work on all those dimensions. So I'm going to bring it down here to create the door. It's perfect. And I'm going to create a height parameter for this. So I'm going to bring this in here, and I'm going to create a parameter for this. I'm going to call this my height, which is going to be the height of my door. So make sure the type is checked. Family parameter is very, very important. Make sure it's also checked, and then just hit on OK in there. It's perfect. So we have that in there as well. We can click on finish in there, which is perfect. And then we can head straight into the 3D view. We head straight into the 3D view, and then we're going to make sure we also create a width for our door as well. So just click on the dimension tool right there, and then just find the side, and then just find the other side and lift it up a little bit, and then you can click right there, and then also change that to the width in there. It's changed to the width. It's also perfect. It's done. So now let's head back into our plan view, which is the reference level in there. Is the reference level in there, and I'm going to head into my edit type properties in there. I'm going to head into my edit type. Let me see what I have. My family type properties. So we have our angle, which is 25. You can see it in there. We have a height of 1680, and we have a meter for a width. All right, so we have that in there as well. So I can click on this extrusion. I can click on that extrusion, and then I'm going to click on this box right there, and then I'm going to call this, I'm going to create a parameter for that, and I'm going to call this my thickness. All right, I'm going to call this my thickness in there. I'm going to call this my thickness, and I'm going to make sure I check my type, and then my family parameter is also checked, and then I'm going to click on OK, and it's in there. It's perfect. So we can go back into our family type properties. We have our thickness in there. We can change this to 50, and we can change the height to 2100, and then we can change the angle to probably 30. Let's hit on apply. Let's see what we have. Okay, let's hit on OK in there. This is perfect. So we have this in there as well. Now what we need to do is I'm going to create a symbol for my door. All right, it needs to have this line that's looking like an angle in there. So what we can do that is we head straight into the annotate tab and click on symbolic line, and I'm going to use this tool right here, the center ends arc. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to start from somewhere around here, get straight to the other reference line, and then fold that to this side. So this is perfect. So I've hit on escape on hit the escape key on a couple of times. We are going to click on our dimension tool. We are going to dimension that as well. We're going to click on the dimension that as well. I'm going to click on an angle. We're going to change this as well. We're going to change this to the angle in there, which is 30. It's also in there. It's perfect. So we have our angle looking 30. It's also perfect. Now what you can do is make sure you save your family. All right, if you're working, make sure you save this family. So we are done creating our generic model family. We need to transfer this generic model family we have in here into the metric door template, into the actual metric door template. So now this is how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to head back into the family tab again, and then I'm going to hover around the new, and then I'm going to click on the family tab, and then I'm going to select my metric door template in there. So we have our metric door template in this reference level. This reference level is our generic model template. All right, so don't be confused. So I'm going to head back into the reference level template in there. I'm going to head back in there, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move this into the metric door template. So I can load that into the metric door template by just clicking in here, load into project, and then I'm going to make sure I click on OK in there. I'm going to check the family too, and then click on OK, and I'm going to drop this my door somewhere around here. So this is perfect. Hit an escape key a couple of times, and I'm going to align this to this line right there. All right, so AL on your keyboard, and then you can click right here, and then just align that to your keyboard right there. So make sure you align that so it's aligned to that. We lock it in, and AL on our keyboard again. We are going to align the bottom as well. We lift it up, and then we lock it in as well. So this is also perfect. We've locked that in as well. So we have that in there. So now I'm going to make sure I assign, you have to assign all those dimensions, all those heights and thickness and angle we created. We have to make sure we assign all of them into this metric door template. All right, it's very simple. So just click on the generic model one, and then we go into this into this, when we head straight into the edit type, all right, head straight into edit type. In there you're going to have this pop-up menu, and then we are going to start off with the height. So click on height in there, and we are going to assign that to height in there. We have a height for this metric door template, all right. So we'll click on that. It's signed in, so you see we can't make any changes in there. We can click on that. And with our thickness, we make sure we click on this bottle in there. We are going to associate it to the metric door template. So we are going to click on, what do we click on? The thickness, all right. So we are going to click on, we are going to assign that to the thickness. It's also in there. And we need to also do the same thing for the width, which is also going to be in there. And we are going to do the same thing for our angle, but we don't have any angle in our door metric door template. We don't have anything like an angle in there. So what we're going to do is we are going to create a parameter for that, and we are going to call this our angle in there. And with this time we are going to check the instance, all right. We are going to move from type, we are going to select the instance. Make sure you check the instance. It's very, very important. So we can click on OK in there, and we have assigned that in there. So we can click on OK. Now everything is assigned also in our metric door template, so we can actually load this door into our software, all right. So we are going to load into project, and we are going to load into the project one template. We are currently inside escape, so I'm going to draw a wall in there. I'm going to draw just a simple wall, and I'm going to put my door in there. So make sure my door is in there. You can see in there my family 2. Click right there and head straight into the 3D view, and you can see, guys, our door is currently opened inside our software, all right. So this is a professional lesson. It's a professional tutorial. You're not going to get this anywhere on YouTube. So we have this in there. You can see in there our door actually really opens. So let me just turn this a little bit. You can click on the door, and then we can change the angle. So we can change this to 50, and you see our door is opening. It's changed to 50. So we can click right there, and then we can also play around with the figures. We can change it to 150, and then our door opens entirely. All right, so this is what it means for a door to open at 150. So let me just click on that, and let me just change this to probably 90. All right, let me send this to 90. So in our elevations, it's going to show that our door is actually really opened inside our software. So it's nice. It's a nice tutorial. So make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be bringing out more videos like this. If you haven't liked and subscribed, make sure you hit the likes button, and make sure you subscribe. If you have a comment, make sure you drop your comments in the comment section. I do very well to respond to actually everyone in there. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next tutorial. Peace out. I'm still working real hard on a Saturday. A future I don't see from a mile away.